Hey, good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I'm not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post the bond, the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond. Sorry about that. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Finally, I need everyone to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay, from a housekeeping standpoint, we have Mr. Florio here who's representing Misty, Mosley, and Roderick Moore. We're going to start with Mr. Moore on the male side, and then we'll switch over to the lady side and deal with Miss Mosley, and then we'll keep going.
Mr. Moore, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore, I would normally speak to you directly, but since you have a lawyer here, Mr. Florio, I'm going to direct my conversation to him. You should be aware that there is no privacy as it relates to these conversations or this hearing. So please don't say anything that you would not want the whole world to know, okay?
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Moore is charged here with being a fugitive from justice. And what that means, Mr. Moore, is that you don't have charges pending here in Clayton County, but that there's a warrant for your arrest out of Tuscaloosa County, Alabama for larceny. And they have indicated that they will extradite. So what that means is that you have the ability to either have a extradition hearing or to waive it. I had a preliminary conversation with Mr. Florio where he indicated that you would wish to waive this hearing. Is that correct, Mr. Florio?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I'm standing in for Attorney Sean Joyner. Mr. Joyner was retained to represent this gentleman, and in speaking with Mr. Joyner, he's indicated to me that Mr. Moore and he would prefer to waive any issues and obviously try to be sent to Alabama as quickly as possible so that Mr. Moore can address these issues with Alabama officials.
Is that what you want to do, Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what's going to happen, you're going to be presented with waiver documents. And once you sign those documents, you'll be free to go back. They're going to send the documents over to me, and then I'm going to sign it. And then the clock will start ticking today for the state of Alabama to come and get you. Do you have any questions about that process?
Yes, sir. How long is the clock? How long is it going for?
So the initial period is up to 30 days. They have the time to come and get you from the date you signed the waiver up to that 30-day period. At the end of that 30-day period, they can request an extension, and that extension may be granted or it may be denied. My understanding is that people are, that the process goes a lot faster. But because I'm not in Alabama, I'm not in the sheriff's department, I'm not making arrangements for them to come get you. I can't tell you when exactly that will happen. I can tell you that there is a time limit to the amount of time that they have. Okay. Any other questions, sir?
No, sir. That'll be it for right now.
Okay. Once you sign the waiver, Mr. Moore, you'll be free to go back. Let's switch over to the ladies' side. We have Misty Mosley. So, Miss Mosley.
Yes, sir.
I would normally direct my attention or conversation to you directly, but since you've hired a lawyer, Mr. Florio, I'm gonna speak with him about your case. Please be aware that anything you say on this call is not privileged or private. So don't say anything here that you would not want the whole world to know, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Florio, I have preliminarily set bond in this case for Miss Mosley, $5,000 apiece for the drug-related offenses and $500 for the speeding. My recollection is that she has an extensive criminal history, but I will look that up. But I will hear from you, Mr. Florio, as to anything you want to say about your client in the bond.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Ms. Mosley is 39 years old, Your Honor. She lives in Forest Park. She is a co-owner in WB Enterprise Group, which is a trucking company that is also based out of Forest Park. I believe the allegations, Your Honor, are going to be that there were THC gummies and maybe THC mints that were located inside of the automobile. I believe, without having the benefit of discovery, that it would probably be less than 10 for each. While Ms. Mosley at this point would deny any knowledge of those items, I think she suffers from lupus. And I think that if someone were to say that those THC items were hers, it would probably be that they were hers for the sole benefit of her medicating herself because of the lupus from which she suffers. And so I don't think that there would be any allegation of any narcotics investigation into Ms. Mosley, or any allegation of distribution. I don't believe there were any large sums of money found on her or anything of that nature. I think if someone were to be able to prove that the gummies and the mints were Ms. Mosley's, it would purely be for therapeutic reasons, for the disease from which she currently suffers. And we would ask the court to take that into consideration with bond this morning.
I generally, and you're correct, it does look like this is really sort of like, to the extent that it could be connected to her, it would be a personal use kind of issue. With her criminal history, that made me bump the bond up a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out how the THC oil is a felony, but the possession of marijuana less than an ounce is a misdemeanor. And I don't think the legislature has figured that out yet. But I am bound to treat it as a felony. What I'll do is this. I will set a bond of $3,000 for the oil and $3,000 for the mints and $500 for the speeding. So that'll be a total bond of $6,500.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you for that consideration.
You're welcome. And Ms. Mosley, to the extent that you may have some issues, and I understand that, because of your prior criminal history, you may want to speak to Mr. Florio and try as best as possible not to put yourself in this position. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions, Ms. Mosley?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Her preliminary hearing date is going to be set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon her bonding out, and she'll get a new court date in the mail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Both of you are free to go.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Have a great weekend, Judge. Be safe.
You too.
Thank you, sir.
Are you ready to start the regular calendar, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, I have Ms. Gentle.
Ms. Gentle, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of battery and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I've set a bond at $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? Uh-oh. You froze. I'm sorry. I didn't hear your response.
No, it froze over here. So can you say that again?
I'm sorry. You've been charged with battery, 1 count of battery and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. And I've set the total bond at $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
And I placed the same bond on Mr. Robinson also. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Antoine Robinson. Do you understand that?
That's fine by me.
There's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you will get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Ms. Hunter?
So I know $3,000 how much you gotta pay.
Yeah.
Ms. Hunter, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of terroristic threats or acts. I've set the bond at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
I've also placed a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Kimberly Hunter. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a, well, let me ask you this question. Do you mind telling me why you're on SSI?
My mom, she's my paid.
I'm sorry.
My mom, she's my paid. But I
Okay.
don't know if she's my paid anymore.
Is it related to some mental health issue?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do, ma'am, is I'm going to set your bond at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Your mother. What is your mother's name?
Kimberly Ann Hunter.
So your mother is the person who's the alleged victim in this case?
Uh-huh.
And when I say that they're saying that in the warrant that you threatened to kill a person by the name of Kimberly Hunter. So that's your,
No.
I'm just saying that's what they wrote on the paper.
No, sir.
Yes, ma'am, they did write that on the paper.
Yes, sir.
I'm not, you're not guilty of anything right now, so I'm not asking you about that. I'm trying to make sure that I understand the circumstances, because if your mother is the payee, as it relates to your Social Security, you're going to have to interact with her in order to be able to have access to those funds.
Yes, sir.
And if I place a stay away provision on this, then you're not going to be able to have access to those funds, or you're not going to be able to speak to her under the possibility of getting further charges. Were you living with your mother?
Yes, sir.
India Burton and Jayla Burton, are they related to you somehow?
Yes, sir.
How are they related to you?
It's my sisters and brother. My sisters.
Okay. And you all live in the house together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For now, ma'am, I'm going to leave this stay away provision on as it relates to Kimberly Hunter. I'm going to have to try to make some additional calls. But for now, you have to stay away from Kimberly Hunter. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Because this is a felony, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm going to make a notation on the appointment form as it relates for the lawyer to relay this situation, because I believe this is something that is going to have to get resolved sooner rather than later. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am. You're free to go back.
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Ms. Rogers, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of battery, 1 count of battery on law enforcement, 1 count of obstructing or hindering law enforcement. I'm going to set a total bond at $13,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
13,000, sir?
Yes, ma'am. It says here that you, as it relates to the family violence battery, that you got into an argument with your boyfriend, but the thing that I'm more concerned about, or not more, but I'm also concerned about, is that it says that you were kicking and scratching and fighting with law enforcement when they arrived.
Yes, sir. Is any of these felonies?
No, the battery, the obstruction, the way that it's written, it can be a felony. They have indicated it as a misdemeanor on here, but whenever you offer violence or actually touch a law enforcement officer as it relates to obstruction, it becomes a felony offense. So it's written here as a misdemeanor, as a designation, but the way that they describe it is actually felony.
I do want to post bond for $1,300 out of the 13,000. I think I can.
Okay. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Zachary Sertain. Do you understand that?
All of my property is with him, sir. How will I get my property?
When you are bonding out, you have to make arrangements with the sheriff's department, and they will meet you at that location so that you can remove your items. But it's not going to be a situation of being there all day. It's going to be a set period of time. Now, you got to understand, you can't go there until you're there with law enforcement. Okay?
Okay. All right, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I said, all right, sir, thank you. And when is my court date?
Okay, your court date is going to be set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir, I do. I definitely want a lawyer.
You do qualify, ma'am. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any more questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Ms. Spates?
Ms. Space, I have an opportunity to go back and look at your situation, and the violation of probation should have been charged as an aggravated stalking. So it's now been amended to be charged as an aggravated stalking. I cannot set bond on the aggravated stalking at this proceeding.
Can I ask you a question, Your Honor?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Derek Reed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Have you met with the lawyer yet as it relates to the aggravated assault charge?
No, sir.
Okay. I am going to make a notation for you to, for these to be combined so that this can get hopefully handled at the same time. Now, what was your question, ma'am?
Why is it an aggravated assault on me?
I'm sorry?
I don't understand why is it an aggravated assault charge on me? I don't know what I did.
Ma'am, I wasn't there, so I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me find this date. What I'm going to do, because you bonded out so that other charge got sent over to Superior Court, I'm going to set a date now for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning, but these calendars are going to get married up, which means I'm going to speak to the clerk to make sure that you can try to place all of your stuff on one calendar at the same time, so it can get resolved all at the same time. Do you have any other questions for me?
Sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
And Miss Small, that is your extradition.
Okay, and Ms. Trotman is OTB?
Miss who?
Trotman, Trottman. Looks like she's charged with driving with no license. And I didn't get a bond order, but I got a warrant, and that normally means that she bonded out.
She did bond out, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Miss Small.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're charged with being a fugitive from justice.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that you don't have charges pending here in Clayton County, but that we've been told that there is a warrant for your arrest out of Houston County Sheriff's Department in Dothan, Alabama.
Yes, sir. I'm familiar with it.
Okay, so you normally during this situation, you can either waive that hearing. That's an extradition hearing to determine whether you are the person named in the warrant and whether the warrant is valid, or you can have the hearing. If you decide to have the hearing, the judge at that hearing will determine whether you are Shannon Gervette Small and whether the warrant is really a warrant for an offense that will be a crime under the law. If the judge found those two things, then the judge would sign off on the extradition warrant and have you sent back to Alabama. If you were to request to have that hearing today, sometime within the next 30 days, it will be set down for that hearing, and those two issues will be determined. You also have the right to waive that hearing. And if you believe you are Shannon Gervette Small and that there is a warrant actively out of Dothan, Alabama for your arrest, that you can waive that hearing and then the clock starts to tick today.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to be presented with a waiver document, and you sign that, and they'll send it over to me, and I'll sign it, and the clock will begin running today.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
Okay, Your Honor, that finished the female.
Okay, thank you for assistance, and I do apologize for sending the wrong link out.
Oh, you're fine, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go over to the male side.
All right. Mr. Brunson's up first. Brunson, correct? Yes, sir. All right. When you guys come up here, go ahead and say your name nice and loud, just in case I messed up.
Mr. Brunson, sir, you're charged with 1 count of family violence battery, 1 count of criminal trespass, damage to property, and 1 count of obstructing or hindering an emergency telephone call. Your total bond is going to be set at $13,000, $5,000 for the battery, $3,000 for the criminal trespass, damage to property, and $5,000 for the obstructing or hindering an emergency phone call. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yep.
There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Deja Smalls. Do you understand that?
I prefer that.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sure.
Okay. All right, you do qualify, Mr. Brunson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Nope.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay, back to yourself. Say your name nice and loud.
Rondell Jenkins.
Say again.
Rondell Jenkins.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Jenkins. Let's see. Mr. Jenkins, you're charged with driving basically on passing a vehicle driving on the shoulder of the roadway and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I've set a total bond of $5,500. Do you believe you can post that bond? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You have your own lawyer? Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Jenkins? Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
Nigel Layton.
Okay, Mr. Layton, sir, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. There's going to be a bond set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Tanisha Winston. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What's your question?
That's my mother. So how am I supposed to do that? Because I know she's gonna find a way to like drop that charge because it was a total misunderstanding.
Okay, so when these criminal trespass, simple battery, simple assault, battery charges, when they come before me, I place a stay away provision on the bond because I don't know what happened except for the allegations that are in the warrant. So I don't know if there's a problem, a serious problem between you and your mother, or this was just a misunderstanding. If your mother believes that you're not a danger, she can contact the Solicitor General's office and let them know that she's totally fine with them converting this either to no violent contact or lifting the stay away provision at all. And if that's the case, it'll get lifted, judge will sign off on it, and everything will be fine.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Anything else?
No.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
Ma'am.
Are you Mr. Manley?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you've been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and aggravated battery. I can't set the bond on the aggravated assault with the deadly weapon charge at this hearing. So I'm going to deny also the aggravated battery and just allow another judge to deal with it. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Autumn Butler. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. There's also going to be a bond hearing date set for July 9th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Go to medical. Come on. Oh, 1 second. Tell me your name. Got a medical? More, Daniel.
Mr. Moore, sir, you're charged with 1 count of theft by taking. The bond has been set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
This is going to be written as a felony, so the bond is going to, the preliminary hearing date is going to be set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify. Sir, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Mr. McMillan.
Okay. I'm sorry. Pronounce your name, sir?
Richard McMillan.
Okay. Mr. McMillan, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. It's being written as a felony. Your bond is going to be set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Diana Marie McMillan. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. McMillan. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
So Olivia? Say your name, that's last.
Mosley, Oliveras.
Okay, Mr. Oliveras, you've been charged with 1 count of burglary, 1 count of crossing guard line, and 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects. I cannot set a bond at this hearing on the burglary charge, so I'm not going to set a bond on the crossing guard line. I'm going to leave that for the next judge. I am setting a bond of $1,500 on the use or possession of drug-related objects. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. You're also going to have a bond hearing date set for July 9th at 8:30 in the morning. Currently, both of those are being held by Zoom. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay. Are you currently employed, sir?
No.
Okay, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Going to back to the next, go back. No. Mr. Robinson?
Robinson.
Mr. Robinson, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of battery and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I've set an $8,000 bond. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
I've also placed a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a nausea okay, Miss Gentle. I'll say Miss Gentle. I can't pronounce her first name. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And she's also got the same bond, and she also has the same bond conditions as you have. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
So is this gonna be on Zoom? The court date?
Currently, yes, it will be, but things are starting to open up and change. So currently it'll be by Zoom, but if that changes, you'll receive new information.
All right.
Okay, any other questions, sir?
That'll be all.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right.
Say your name, everybody.
Are you
Gardner? Yeah.
Mr. Shelton?
Shelton. I'm sorry, we got to skip my part.
Kareem Shelton, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Shelton, you've been charged with 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects and 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set a total bond at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond also for you to stay away from 6726 Tara Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir, not at all, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Barner.
Mr. Varner, sir, you're charged with 2 counts of stalking, 1 count of obstructing or hindering law enforcement officer, 1 felony count of fleeing from a police officer, and 1 count of reckless driving, and 1 count of driving too fast for conditions. I'm not allowed to set bond at this point on this stalking. I've set bond at $2,000 on the hindering, obstructing or hindering law enforcement. Because I can't set bond on the stalking, I'm denying bond on the felony fleeing from a police officer. And I've set a bond of $1,500 for the reckless driving and $500 for the too fast for conditions. I've also placed stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Diamond Brown and a Felicia Brown. Do you understand that? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. You're also going to have a bond hearing date that's going to be set for July 9th at 8:30 in the morning. And currently, both of those hearings are being held by Zoom. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
I heard you said something at 8:30 in the morning. What was that? You said you had something for me at 8:30 in the morning?
Both of the hearings, they're currently set for 8:30 in the morning. I believe I saw something about a stalking ex parte temporary order. Have you been served with that order?
Drove the order, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I did have it.
Okay. Did you got served while you were here in custody now?
I had got it for the last time.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Mr. Warner?
You're Kelvin Warren?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Warren, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, 1 count of improper lane change, 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol, and 1 count of driving without a license. The family violence battery charge is from a warrant that was obtained back in January of this year. I've set a total bond of $12,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
12,000, no, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Acacia Indaye.
Excuse me, sir. I already did time for that. I was on probation for that, and they told me once I paid the probation that everything's suspended.
You was on probation for what?
But supposed the battery charge against Miss Keisha Jai, I had a attempted burglary and a battery charge.
Hold on. And when did you enter this plea?
So that was like a year ago.
I'm sorry?
If I'm not mistaken, it's been a year ago.
So this warrant was obtained on January 22nd of this year. And the allegation is that on January 22nd of this year, that you got into some kind of physical confrontation with her, and that you tackled her on the bed, bit her on the right shoulder, resulting in bruising. And then it says that you wrapped your hands around her throat. So you didn't do time on this.
I don't know. I didn't know nothing about that one. I thought that was when I had the warrant for it. They told me to stay away. I have no idea about that. So.
Okay, so that's a new offense. Hold on. Okay, so are you referencing the incident that happened in August of 2020?
Sir, that's the only incident I ever had with Miss Keisha. I was told that once I released, I paid the money for the what's the name? And then they let me go. They told me I would no longer be able to go around her. They canceled the probation upon payments of the restitution. I paid the restitution.
Okay, so the allegation that's contained here today is after August of 2020. So that's what I'm saying, that this is a new allegation. Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You're not currently working, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify. Excuse me, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
What about the other charges?
When you say other charge, you have two sets of charges, okay? The first one is from January 22nd. A warrant was sworn out for you for family violence battery with this Keisha as the victim. The second set of charges are related to yesterday, getting arrested on DUI, suspended license, and failure to maintain lane. Okay, so there's a $5,000 bond for the DUI, $500 bond for the improper lane change, and a $1,500 bond for driving on a suspended license. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Warren?
Sir, I was just curious about the battery charge because I didn't know nothing about it.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Mr. Williams? Thank you.
Okay, are you Dexter Williams or Kelvin?
Ronald.
Ronald, you're Ronald Williams? Okay. Mr. Ronald Williams, you're charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which is possession of more than an ounce of marijuana and use or possession of drug-related objects. I've set a total bond of $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, you're free to go back.
Mr. Wimbush? That's that right?
Demetrius Wimbush.
Okay. Wimbush, you're charged with one count of simple battery. There's going to be a $4,000 bond set on this offense. So you believe you can post that bond? There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Shanita Jackson. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay. Okay, I'm going to find that you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Your Honor, Mr. Rogers, fugitive.
Joshua Rogers.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, sir, you're here on what's called a fugitive from justice warrant. It means that you're not being held because of any allegations that you committed a crime here in Clayton County. You're being held because you're wanted out of New York City Police Department on a grand larceny warrant. And they have indicated that they will extradite. You have a right to demand a hearing to determine whether you are the person named in the warrant and whether these charges are actually valid charges. And if you were to demand that hearing sometime within the next 30 days, you'd go before a judge and the judge would have a hearing to determine whether you are Joshua Stevens Roger and whether these charges are accurate. We're not determining whether you did it or whether you're guilty or innocent. You can also waive that hearing. And if you believe you are the person named in the warrant and that it is valid, you can waive that and you can demand, well, the clock will start ticking today. I see that you're shaking your head, so that's what you want to do is waive?
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, so they're going to present you with the waiver and you sign the waiver. Once you sign it, you'll be free to go back and then they'll send it to me and I'll sign it and then the clock will start ticking today.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Wayne Alfred.
Okay. Mr. Alfred, did you hear what I just said to Mr. Rogers?
Yes, sir.
In this situation, you are alleged to be wanted out of, it looks like it says Craighead County in Arkansas for a forgery warrant. Have you had an opportunity to think about whether you want to have an extradition hearing or whether you want to waive the hearing?
I'm just waiting, sir. I know they're not coming, so I'm just gonna wait.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me about the process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, they're going to present you with the waiver of extradition. The clock's going to start today. And if once you sign the waiver, you'll be free to go back.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I think we got 4 up at COVID.
Okay.
Let me make sure. I think the other deputy went up there. Hold on one second. Let me make sure real quick. Okay, Judge, we're getting ready to go up there and set it up right now.
Okay.
I apologize. I thought somebody was already up there doing it, so I apologize.
No problem. I'll stand by.
Okay, thank you. I will hurry.
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, it took my computer a very long time to get started, but we have your phone, guys.
Okay.
Can you open R21 for me, John? You can get R21 for me. Yeah. What do you need first? What do you have first for those four, Your Honor?
Is it Davis? Jaquan Davis?
David. Cool.
Ain't gotta worry about it, you ain't gotta look pretty. Go right over here. There you go.
Pull up answer. Put it up.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you're charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and 1 count of, it looks like, operating a moped on a highway. You're going to have a total bond set at $3,500. Can you make that bond? There's going to be a Jesus Christ. Sorry. There's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, Mr. Davis?
No, I just had a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way I can get like anything to just go back and forth to work? Like child support and have my license messed up like since the 90s. Like there's no way I can get them. That's why they took my car last month. I was out here. I got out. I was told that I could drive a moped. I buy the moped. It's $800. Now I can't drive that.
So I'm going to give you a couple suggestions. If you want me to appoint a lawyer, I will, because the lawyer should be able to assist you with some of these suggestions. So do you want me to appoint a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So generally with child support, when it gets suspended, your license gets suspended because of failure to pay child support. If there is an agreement that's put in place, like I'll pay $10 a month for the next 100 months, that would be sufficient to get you back to having your license restored, because it's no longer a situation of it's suspended for failure to pay child support, because you have an agreement in place. So if that's something that that you may want to consider and discuss with the lawyer, because whatever jurisdiction where the suspension originally came out of, a lot of times it's either handled by the district attorney's office locally, or it's something that's done through the blanking on the state agency. But if there's an agreement that's put in place, you'll be able to get a document that you can take to DDS, Department of Driver Services, and get your license restored.
Yeah, I was just told like my back pay from it's up north and it's like $500,000. There's no way, it's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
But I've tried to call New York. I tried. I just bought the moped just to get to work.
All right. Yeah.
No, I understand, but does that make sense to you about if there's an agreement in place that you're no longer in a situation where you're failing to pay child support? They just call it you're in arrears, meaning you owe money.
Yeah, I understand. For the kids now is almost 30 years old. Like I've been trying to call New York and get in contact with them, but it's not. I don't know.
Okay,
like, can't accomplish that.
That's gonna be the thing you're gonna have to do, Mr. Davis, or you're just gonna keep basically bumping your head every time you try to do something different. Okay.
Yes,
All right, you're free to go back.
Who's your next person, Your Honor?
Mr. Jackson.
Jackson.
How you doing, Judge?
Mr. Jackson, good afternoon, sir. You're charged with 1 count of battery and 1 count of simple battery. I've set a total bond at $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir, but I'm about to, how much would that be if I go to a bail bond?
It's going to be about $1,000, between $1,000 or $1,200. While you're thinking about that, there's going to be a stay away provision on the bond also to stay away from a Malachi Jones and a Carolyn Jackson.
Yes, sir.
I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies because they will work with you. That's literally their only business model. So they'll put people on payment plans. They'll do things that you may believe they won't do in order to at least get the service from you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I'm fixing to try to get on the phone and see if I can get my. Actually, Carolyn is my mom. So that's the only family I got up here.
Right.
I guess would she be able to bond me out even though she's on the deal?
She's not going to be able to bond you out.
I don't have nobody else up there. Like,
what about Bernadette Jackson?
That's my sister.
She's not listed as a person that's on a no contact.
Okay, so then we'll have to. Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Mr. Jackson, do you have any other questions?
Yes, sir. Like, I'm really trying to, hurry up and get out today. This one, trying to see like which bail bonds do I need to call.
Okay, so the sooner we get done with this, the faster I finish my paperwork and the faster everything gets entered into. You know your bond now. You can start making phone calls when you're allowed to use the phone and start making the arrangements so that when the paperwork is done, you'll be ready to go.
Okay, so with the bail bonds, we think even though
I got you got my book.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I really appreciate you, man.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Yes, sir.
The next person is Mr. Is it Mbaye?
Hines.
He's OTB?
He's OTB, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hines.
Mr. Williams?
Did you have Mr. Hines?
I do have Mr. Hines. I thought Mr. Hines was OTB.
No, it's Mbaye is the one that's OTB.
Okay. But I will deal with Mr. Williams and then we'll do Mr. Hines. Wait, sorry, sir. Stop. Are you Mr. Hines?
Yes, sir.
Come on down. Mr. Hines, you're charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license. The bond is set by schedule, which means it's automatically set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for July 6th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
So last one, we're gonna bring up Mr. Williams. Come on, Williams.
Mr. Williams, you're charged with 1 count of theft by taking motor vehicle and 1 count of driving as an unlicensed person or not changing your residency after 30 days. I cannot set a bond on the theft by taking because there's an indication that you're still on probation. But I've set a $500 bond on the other charge. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for July 7th at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm also setting a bond hearing date for July 9th. Now, the thing that's important to realize as it relates to my not being able to set bond on the first offense, it doesn't mean that you have to sit here until July 9th in order to get bond. but they're going to have to contact your probation officer to see if they're going to try to place a hold on you before you're bonded out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
You say I have $500 bond on one of my charges?
Yeah, let me read it to you. It's written in sort of a strange way, but it's basically it says driving without a valid license. And it appears that it's saying that your license is not valid because of multiple suspensions.
I never had a license.
Okay. Well, you're charged with driving without a valid license.
Okay, okay. And the other charge, I can't get a bond.
They talk to probation officer, that's what he's saying.
I'm not on probation.
So Mr. Williams, I can appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you want me to do that?
Yes.
And you give me 1 second, I'll tell you what's showing on my end, so at least you can speak to the lawyer about it. Okay.
But they don't want, my probation officer don't want to put a hold on me.
It looks like from February of this year, February 1st of this year in Fulton County. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're free to go back, sir.
That's it.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's the last one. I don't want to.
Okay.